Remember your grandma, if you were lucky enough to have had one, told you to eat your fruits and vegetables. Well, that was her opinion, and was a good opinion, because we really should be eating them. But is there any scientific evidence for this? Let's look at some scientific studies and how they are done. You know, in science, the gold standard of studies is the so-called randomized controlled double-blind trial, where you have two groups of subjects, and one of them, for example, is given a drug that you're testing, the other group is given a placebo, and everything else is the same. So you know what you've done. This is an interventional study. It gives you the best possible results. However, when it comes to nutrition and food, you can't do randomized double-blind studies because people tend to know if they're eating broccoli or if they're eating a hamburger. So you have to make some adjustments. It can't be blinded, but you can still have a randomized controlled trial, and that's been done. So for example, we have a study here from New Zealand where one group was told to eat a plant-based diet, the other group just followed their regular normal diet, which of course is generally not the most healthy, and they were followed for months to see what would happen, and it turned out that the people who had the plant-based diet had lost weight, and their blood cholesterol went down as well. So there was a study. It wasn't blinded, but it was at least randomized and controlled. Then we have studies that we call cohort studies, where you follow groups of people to see what has happened to them. For example, a case control type of study. That's the kind of study that first revealed the link between smoking tobacco and lung cancer. What the researchers did was they compared the group that had this terrible disease to a group that didn't. They asked them questionnaires, and it turned out that the group that had lung cancer were the ones who were far more likely to smoke. Well, such studies can also be done with food, such as you see here, where you follow a group of people and you ask them about what they had been doing before. So this was a group that was pre-diabetic or had no problems with their blood sugar, and they were asked about their past history, and it turned out that the ones who were eating fruits and vegetables were less likely to become pre-diabetic. Then you have other studies called cohort studies, which look forward. That is, you choose a group of people and you don't intervene in any way, but you just follow what happens to them through a series of questionnaires. These are so-called cohort prospective studies. So for example, in this case, they followed large groups of people and determined what diseases they were eventually afflicted with, and they looked at their diets, and it turned out that the ones who had eaten more meat and generally less fruits and vegetables were more likely to suffer all kinds of diseases, including cancer, and therefore the advice was obviously to eat your fruits and veggies and to minimize meat intake. Now, this can be done in different places, different countries, different cultures. For example, this study in Japan, which is widely quoted these days, looked at a large cohort of people, again prospectively, that is, they were enlisted, they were followed, they filled out questionnaires during years, and the researchers then investigated what kind of diseases afflicted them. Turns out that the ones who were more likely to suffer dementia were the ones who ate fewer fruits and vegetables during their life. So the information is not ironclad, but there certainly is plenty of evidence to tell us that a plant-based, fruit-based, vegetable-based diet is the way to go. That is why I make sure to have my 5 to 10 servings of fruits and vegetables every day. And an apple a day really can help keep that doctor away.